Hi, welcome to Atheist Encounter Podcast. Do you want to know about atheists and their encounters? Then you're in the right place. Alright, so stay tuned as we are about to embark on a journey with another atheist. Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Farbes and you're welcome to Atheist Encounter. I am the host, and today we have a guest on the show. But before I introduce our guest, let me introduce our guest co-host and our co-host. Our guest co-host for today is Mr. Chidozie. Mr. Chidozie, can you say hi?
Hi, thank you very much, Mr. Farbes.
You are welcome to the show today once again.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Brendan is our co-host as usual. So, Mr. Brendan, can you say hi?
Hello, everyone. Let's go.
All right. Okay, so I'm just going to introduce our guest. Actually, I'm just going to let you introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name Gabriel Samuel, and I am the guest for today, and I am sincerely honored to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that. We are just going to be taking turns to ask you questions as usual, and then we'll get your responses. I think I'll let our guest co-host, Mr. Chidozie, start. Can you go ahead, Mr. Chidozie?
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Farbes, for giving me the opportunity to speak. Okay, my question starts this way. Mr. Samuel, kindly just tell us, what do you think is atheist? What's the meaning of atheist? The atheist movement and what it encompasses. Thank you.
First and foremost, atheism simply means the lack of belief, or as it has to regards with existence of God, like you are just not believing in the existence of God, or you probably do not see enough proof that will make you to have belief in a God, that a God actually exists. So because of that, they attribute the name atheism to you, simply because you do not believe or you are not convinced enough. So in my own words, that's actually what atheism is all about.
Okay, thank you so much. So Mr. Farbes, you can take up the mic. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Chidozie, for that. And Mr. Samuel, I sincerely appreciate you for your response. Okay, I think we'll hand over the mic to Brendan. Brendan, can you go ahead?
Mr. Samuel, were you born into a religious family and later left, or did you start being an atheist after birth?
I was born into the religion of Christianity. Like, my parents were both Christians, so definitely I automatically was born into the Christendom. I got baptized as early as 2 months old as a baby. Then I got my first Holy Communion at I think 12 years of age. Then at 18 years I was confirmed. I attained my confirmation, which made me like a soldier of Christ. So that was simply the significance of the confirmation. So actually I didn't grow up to be an atheist. There was actually a transition from Christianity to atheism.
Thank you very much for that answer. I really love the way you explained and expatiated on the topic. Thank you very much. I love that. Mr. Farbes, please, over to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brendan, for that. And thank you, Samuel, as well, for your response to that question. Okay, in continuation with what you just said, can you tell us about your journey away from religion.
All right. My conversion into atheism, let me say, it started far back when I was still like a church boy, like a very committed Christian, because that time I was literally always present in the church. I wasn't schooling at that time, I wasn't working. I think I had just finished secondary school. So it actually started when, throughout my childhood and my adolescent stage, but it kind of intensified when I finished secondary school, because at that time there was actually nothing more that was hindering me. I was a member of the Lay Readers Association, I was member of Block Rosary, I was member of Charismatic, I was member of Praise and Worship, I was member of the church band, so many. And at that time I kind of grew up with these technical skills of having my way around computers and gadgets. So I was also the head of the media team at that time in my church.
Wow,
So,
you were just all around. You were just everywhere.
yeah, exactly. I was just, and that's one problem I've noticed with me, is that whatever I dedicate myself to do, I give it my all and all. And
Okay. All right. Just proceed. Just continue.
yeah, so that time it was so, but I was not just like Christians who say today that you were just a church goer. Actually, I think my journey that time was not just being a church goer, because I recall being in praise and worship, being in the band, we often go out of our way to fast and pray before ministration, because I could play instruments, I could sing, like I could play drums, I could sing, and I could back up lead vocalists too. So we often go out of our way to pray, to fast, that God should give us the grace to actually minister and not just like sing to people. So I would say that time I was an active participator, not just like passive. Maybe like today's religion, you actually notice that people are just going to the church because religion is kind of a routine to them. It is Sunday and I am expected to go to church, so let me just go. So, but me, it was not like that. Despite the fact that I would be in church from Monday to Saturday, then on Sunday, I would be in church as early as 5 a.m. in order to set up for the media team. Then I will not leave church till around 3 in the afternoon, get home and eat, then go back to the church for evening fellowship. So despite the fact that I was this stressed, I still would go out of my way to even anticipate this church coming, because I derived so much joy. I kind of felt Christ moving in me. I felt Christ using me to minister to people. The feeling was just euphoric that time.
Wow, that was a lot of engagement in all these religious activities. You engage yourself so deeply. Okay, so what eventually prompted your exit from religion?
The event that actually brought the main transformation was when I actually linked up with a friend. His name is Rex Gavin. He is a very, very good childhood friend, but I consider him as an elder brother. So I don't know where he actually got the idea of atheism from. Not until we actually got involved in a conversation one day, and he was able to give me an opportunity to actually think that, see, there is actually an opportunity for you to actually doubt the existence of God. And I was like, wow, definitely there is so much for me to actually discover. So because of that, I kind of went into deep studies. Like I went on Facebook, looked for like-minded people that were actually talking bad on religion and Christianity. Let me actually see what sense are they making. What can actually prompt somebody to say something bad against religion? So I kind of discovered so much about religion, that religion was simply a scam. There are so many people in the world that do not even believe in the existence of God. I think this is my newfound system. This was basically how I ended up as someone who is irreligious.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for that response to that question, and for sharing your encounters with religion and how you left. All right. I'm just going to hand over the mic to Mr. Chidozie. Mr. Chidozie, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead. Go on.
Okay, Mr. Samuel, thank you so much for that, your response. Please, my question is coming in 2 dimensions, and I would like you to make it very snappy. First of all, since you left, for now, you've ascribed yourself as an irreligious person. You've made your position clear that you are irreligious. So how has been your family? How have you been relating with your family, one? And how has the outside world treated you?
All right. Contrary to most atheists and irreligious people, when they actually convert to atheism or they become irreligious or they renounce their religion, what the first thing they do is they will post online, they will associate, or they will make the people around them know of their new stand. Actually speaking, that was what I did not do. My atheism or my irreligiosity was simply only peculiar to me and me alone. I actually did not share anything with anybody. I denounced everything pertaining to religion, but I also kept my mind open in case there is a new modification. I kept my mind open to learn more things and so on. So I actually did not inform anybody of my decision. In fact, the only person within my locality that knows of my stand is that very person I told you we spoke about, Rex Gavin, on Facebook.
Okay, so very clear. I love your response. That means you are simply trying to tell that you've not made your position specifically clear to both the outside world and the immediate family. So let's take for instance that you later took a position on I am totally irreligious. There's no form of modification that will bring me back to religion. So how do you think they will treat you if they get to know that you have strongly made the position clear that you are now irreligious?
I know definitely people are going to desert me. Definitely people are going to pinpoint hand anywhere I pass. They'll be pointing at, look at him there, he's the one, stuff like that. And permit me to actually bring up a story, though I will try to rush it up. I kind of, when something is peculiar to you, you would kind of want to share it. There are instances whereby I was caught sharing irreligious views, not irreligious per se, but realistic views. So I was kind of sharing realistic views with my co-Christian brothers when I was in 200 level. All right, so I went by sharing of those realistic views. A 100 level student within us, he was actually our roommate too. He got to hear of this and he actually went to the fellowship and asked a question. So when they asked him, I don't know the question he asked, but when they asked him, who told you of or how did you come about this question? He said it is somebody in his room that gave him the mind to actually ask that question, that gave him that, put in those doubts in his mind that enabled him to ask the question. So I think the question was actually pertaining to irreligiosity and atheism or something, like doubting the existence of God or something like that. They had to do a meeting within the school. Then they now started going helter-skelter looking for me. Who is this Samuel? Who is this Gabriel Samuel? Everybody was just looking for me. So eventually when they actually met me, it was nothing even serious that they even asked me. Actually, that time I could feel a stigma that anywhere I passed, they would be like, look at him there, look at him there. So it had even started dawning on me that I had started even contemplating my stand, or do I start deceiving these people that are me? So just imagine within a sect of people. Now just imagine what will happen if my family is aware. There will be no benefit of that. Keeping it to myself is more beneficial than even exposing it to anybody, because I'm not doing it for anybody. So I think when I actually expose it to people, they will actually treat me bad because I am not like them. I try to actually be rebellious to religion.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So in nutshell,
That's it.
it simply means they will be hostile to you. Thank you so much. Your position has been made clear. I'll move you over to the host.
Thank you so much for that question, and Samuel, thank you for your response as well. Mr. Brendan, are you there?
All right. Thank you for the opportunity to speak once more. If I'm using the word if, you have, let's say, in the near future, and you have your own financial freedom and every other freedom a person desires, like you are on your own, as a man on your own, you're not depending on anybody for anything, and you have a chance to help others live religion, will you do it, or will you still continue keeping it to yourself?
Currently, as I told you earlier, my stand on irreligiosity and atheism is still under development. So sometimes I even ponder out my future and be like, damn, what caliber of woman will I marry? What caliber of children am I going to raise? Will I allow them actually become atheists like I am? So these questions keep popping into my mind, but I will leave that to the future because I know I still have time to think about life and other things. So let me focus on what is on ground now. So actually speaking, I will not intentionally infuse atheism or irreligiosity into a person, but I will actually show you that, see, there is a possibility for this, there is a possibility for that. So it is left for you to make your choice.
I just wanted to be very clear on that, and you have made your points very clear, which is you are not going to be rescuing anyone from religion for now, but you can drop some few insights on them if possible or if necessary. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I love your response to that question. Over to you, Mr. Fabest.
All right. Thank you so much for that response, Mr. Samuel Gabriel. All right. Let's move straight to another question. Are there some things you did to promote religion when you were religious that you feel actually dumb and you regret doing them?
Actually, I don't think there's anything. My stay on religion overall, I wouldn't say I actually regretted it. It was a natural process that occurred, and there was room for me to actually discover myself, and I discovered. My only regret is that maybe I would have probably discovered this new opportunity, this new room for atheism like earlier in life. Maybe it might actually contributed in building me to be better than who I am today.
All right then, thank you for that response. I'll hand you over to Chidozie.
My question goes this way. Has religion done more good to humanity, or has it done more harm to humanity?
Concerning this very question, I beg to be neutral on it, because we have seen evidence of countries that are doing absolutely well regardless of them being religious, and we've seen countries that are ruled by atheism and these countries are also doing well. Now, in every nutshell, there are so many factors that actually contribute, not just religion, in trying to make a country good or in trying to make a country bad, regardless of whether religion is there or not. So I think regarding this question, I'll beg to be neutral because I think it's 50-50.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for your response. Well acknowledged. So I'm moving the mic back to the co-host. Thank you.
Mr. Samuel, if I, being an atheist, should come to you as a fellow atheist and tell you we were wrong all this while, God really exists, I've seen him, he came to me, what will be your response?
Okay, first and foremost, I am not going to believe in what you say. I will also think that it is kind of maybe a shift in thought that actually brought about that your conclusion, because as I've stated earlier, my type of atheism is not kind of the one that you have made your conclusion and that is final, come what may. It is actually a type of atheism that actually seeks to learn. Every day I am currently looking for an opportunity to get new information, new insight about this my found or chosen path, because I'm sure I am not the only one. So this learning now, sometimes actually me speaking to you here, I actually get these feelings of, okay, wait, I am actually irreligious, but how comes this thing is actually happen? How comes could this thing actually happen without the possibility of somebody somewhere actually instigating it to actually happen? So I too do have those feelings before. So when you come to me with those your points that you've actually encountered God and blah blah blah, the only thing I would think is, well, I also do have such thoughts too, so it is a normal thing. Maybe your thoughts were so convincing that you actually believed in them. However, my own have not yet been convinced to the extent of believing in the existence of God. So therefore, I will not take your own explanation.
Thank you very much for that. I love that response very much. Thank you to Mr. Fabes for the opportunity to ask the question. Over to you now, Mr. Fabes.
All right, thank you so much for that. And Mr. Samuel, I sincerely appreciate you for that response. It was, head on. Mr. Samuel, do you think the world would be a better place if everyone is irreligious as you?
Yes, the world is actually going to be a better place if everyone is irreligious as me. Now, my own type of irreligious is divided into two parts. One part is believing in God, and the other part has a principle that under no condition should you inflict harm to your fellow brother or sister. So with these principles and protocols that are surrounding my type of irreligiosity, I think the world will actually be a very, very better place if everybody is to be like me.
All right, thank you for that response. Okay, a follow-up question to that. Do you think human beings are inherently tending towards doing evil?
I would say it's actually mixed. They are naturally have the tendency of being evil and good at the same time. So I wouldn't tilt it towards evil. However, there are instances whereby evil might actually take the upper hand, because most bad things actually gives pleasure. Most things that are actually brings about intense pleasure are kind of evil in nature, or they are actually they go through a bad process before they can actually get. It is possible that a man or human beings will kind of naturally have a tendency to tilt toward evil.
Thank you for the response. So let me hand you over to our guest co-host, Mr. Chidozie.
From the rational view, is there anything in the Bible that you don't stomach it? Let me cite this example of the issues of whales swallowing Jonah, Jesus Christ feeding 5,000 people without, in fact, first of all, let me start with, they didn't even hear him in addressing 5,000 people without microphone and only feeding them. So from your own skeptical point of view, did you stomach this, or you did not stomach it while in religion? That's my question. Thank you.
No, while I was actually in religion, these things, I all considered them as normal things, as things that could actually be perpetrated by the Almighty God. So it was when I came out of religion that I actually started seeing that these things were actually a bit odd, even though they were being said to be carried out by an almighty being. They were actually odd. There is no possibility of such things actually happening in our present generation. So when I was in under the umbrella of religion, I actually believed everything, explicitly everything that was said in the Bible. So there was absolutely no doubt for anything.
Okay, no problem. I've listened to what you said. So that simply means you stomached everything that religion sold to you. Thank you so much. Let me hand you over to my co-host, Mr. Brendan. You can take the mic. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the mic, our Mr. Chidozie, our guest host. As an atheist, what's your take on money rituals? Do you think in any way that it is real?
Oh, thank you very much for this question. Actually speaking, I will not say I don't believe in money ritual or I believe in money ritual. Where if it can actually happen and you can actually prove it to me, then why wouldn't I believe? But currently, I have never seen money ritual ceremony actually being conducted. In fact, so far what I have read, so far what I know is that money ritual is, or this what they actually call Yahoo Plus, is actually a business whereby they actually get people, harvest some part out of them and sell it. Then when they sell this part, then they exchange this part for money, and at the end of the day they will tell you that they've done money ritual. So this is my own definition or my own perspective of money ritual. Money ritual, there is actually no human sacrifice. There is no activities that actually entails the typical ritual we are actually accustomed to. So when these organs are actually exchanged for money, then this money is now given to the person. So at the end of the day, he says he has done money ritual. So
Thank you very much. You murdered it like splendid. That's what I think it is too. Thank you very much for that answer. Thank you very much. I love that. Over to you, Mr. Fabius.
All right. Thank you so much for your response, Samuel. What advice will you give somebody who depends on people who are religious, or maybe works in an organization that takes religion very seriously? What advice are you going to give that person about his atheism, how to handle his atheism? Will you advise that person to come out or just hold it in?
I will advise the person to keep his atheism to himself. What is the essence if people actually know? It will only ascribe, it will only attract more hate to you. It will only attract more like stigma to you. So if you are working in an organization or in a setting whereby everybody seems to be religious and you are the only person who is different from them, then what's the point of showing yourself? Then you just blend in. It will actually not do anything. It will not reduce the hairs that are present on your skin, not to talk of inflicting harm to you. So to me, he should just blend in. It will not, especially if he depends on them. Does the government give any special allowance for people who are attributed as atheists? Definitely not. So just go low key and that's it.
If we should all keep our atheism to ourselves, there are so many people out there who never even knew that atheism existed, that through us, through our post, they actually started thinking. So if we should all be keeping it to ourselves, I don't even think I myself will be an atheist.
Yes, you are right, sir. Same thing, if you actually listen to my story, I said it was somebody else that communicated the possibility of atheism to me, and I wholeheartedly grabbed it. So you are right, if we are to keep our atheism to ourselves, then there will be no improvement. Then some people will not even know that there is a possibility. Yes, it's true, but in a setting whereby the circumstances surrounding you are probably not favorable, do you still go ahead and reveal yourself? In a work setting, in a company, that you informed your boss that you are actually deviating from the norms that everybody is accustomed to, then this can actually just increase hate. They will fire you and you lose your source of livelihood. So to me, there's actually no point. If the circumstances surrounding you are not favorable, then just keep it to yourself until when it is actually favorable.
Okay, assuming they now told him maybe they are having a kind of a devotion and he's all fed up, as in he doesn't want to be part of it. He's done, as in the rituals they do in the organization, like communion, and maybe they pray all the time, and he doesn't want to be involved in all these things. How do you advise that person to handle such situations?
Yeah, actually, I think you are just communicating like problems I've actually been into. For me, actually, since I am still under like the care of my parents and the rest, then I just blend in. There's nothing to it. I just kind of go in. There are instances whereby they will be like, Gabriel, come and pray for us. I go wholeheartedly and pray, despite knowing that it will not work. Well, yeah, that's just it. Then in a kind of setting whereby the person is fed up of whatever religious treatment he's actually receiving from the people, maybe the ritual, maybe the fasting and prayers that maybe your boss mandated every Monday you must fast. And if you eat, nobody will know. Yeah, if you actually eat, nobody will know. But then then there are instances whereby maybe if you are kind of fed up, then you might opt in for actually leaving the company if it's actually dawning on your mental health, because the indoctrination of religion can actually be so incapacitating that it can actually disrupt somebody's mental health. It can lead to personality disorders and so on and so forth. So if you see that it's actually bringing an incapacitating effect on you, then you might consider leaving, provided you are actually going to get something that can be able to sustain you, because the primary goal of every human being is not even religion, is a means of livelihood. If this is your only source of income, this is your only source of food, and you are absconding from it simply because of your irreligiosity, what you believe, then what I will tell you is that you need food before you can be able to think about what you believe in. So the person should just try to be rational and weigh things.
Thank you so much for that response, Mr. Samuel. Actually, the response was very spot on. So I will hand over the mic to Brendan. Brendan, are you still there?
All right, Mr. Samuel. I have a very quick question, like very short. Do you think someone who has been an atheist for a very long time, for me as an example, can still become religious again?
Yes, it is very possible for someone who is an atheist to become religious. Number one, it could be on the basis of, okay, I am irreligious and I know that Christianity or religious people are bigots and extremists, so let me actually use their religion on them in order to exploit them. This could actually be one reason. Then second reason why somebody can actually go back to religion is on the basis of what I have told you earlier. My state of atheism is still in the learning process. Now, there are instances whereby my research or my studies can actually lead to some sort of a strong conviction. See, to me, the bottom line between atheism and theism is just conviction. There is no enough conviction that God actually exists. So if my research actually in a way brings up or provides a conviction that actually convinces me, you know, so many atheists, not every atheist is actually having like a skeptical mind that they will sit down and criticize things one by one. Then if somebody that is just easy to believe, or maybe the conviction there is as strong enough to convince, then there is actually a possibility to swiping back to religion. Then somebody can also go back to religion like on the basis of choice. Okay, I have weighed everything in religion, I have seen everything in atheism, then I choose to be part of religion. Then it's possible. So any of these three reasons can actually be a reason why somebody goes back to religion. So maybe you might not be pretending, maybe it's just your choice that you actually choose to. You see it's favorable to go back to religion, then so be it. It's your life, it's your choice.
Thank you very much. You did justice to that question. I love that. Over to you, Mr. Fabest.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Gabriel Samuel, for your response to that question. We appreciate that. I'll hand you over to Mr. Chidozie. Chidozie, over to you.
Mr. Samuel, if you are being given the saddle of leadership, like I said, the mantle of leadership, the invariably executive power to make executive decision, what would you do with religion in Nigeria? Citing Nigeria as a case study.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for that question. I think the first thing I'm going to do is that those things that are actually detrimental to human beings that are perpetrated by religion, I will try to actually see how I'll bring like a control over them. I know that there will be forces that will actually try to attack me because so many people are actually benefiting from the bigotry, from the extremism of religion in Nigeria. The extremism of religion is actually bringing backwardness to Nigeria. For example, people are demolishing lands that were supposed to use for the creation of factories, and the rest are actually lands that we are using to build mosques and churches. So I'll actually kind of see that I decrease the negative impact that religion is actually having on the people.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm moving the mic back to the co-host. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Chidozie. But actually, I'm done asking questions for tonight concerning our time to round up, and I will be passing the mic back. If there's any other question again, our host will be happy to ask. Mr. Fabis, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Brendan, for that, for returning the mic to me. Anyways, I think we are done for today. So, thank you so much, Mr. Gabriel Samuel, for coming on our podcast today. We sincerely appreciate you for accepting our invitation. Mr. Chidozie, do you have any last words to say to our guests?
Yes, my last word to our guest is thank you so much for, first of all, acknowledging the truth. Atheism simply means the truth, and the truth will always do was set us free. The stagnation of truth has been the opium of our very good country.
Mr. Brendan, do you have one final word to say to our guest?
Yes, I have a lot of things to say to appreciate him for, but to manage time, I will just say this. Thank you very much, Mr. Samuel. We are still going to have many more conversations, maybe more encounters to share and talk about, because I really love the way you take your time to explain your response, your things you have experienced and all that. I really love the way you take your time to explain those, and I wish we could make this lengthy enough, but because of the time we have to manage. So yes, so thank you very much, and we hope we talk again very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much too, Mr. Brendan. I actually didn't anticipate this podcast to end anytime soon, but actually I am consoled by the fact that you said we will have subsequent encounters together. So thank you also for having me. I'm very, very grateful for the invitation to actually come and share my views, to share my story, and learn from you also, because you have actually kind of corrected some of the notions that I've actually had, like some of the bad notions I've actually had. You've actually put me on the right track.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for coming on the podcast today. We appreciate you for that. And we would like to hear, maybe you have some recommendations, some things we need to improve on to make this podcast better. Do you have any recommendations?
I think this early starting, this whole thing is not actually bad. So I think you can just continue the way you've started, pending subsequent or future innovations. But actually you are doing a very, very nice work, taking your time, I know what it actually takes to edit a podcast of this nature, of almost an hour, but you actually take your time, invest your time, your energy, your resources in doing this, just for so many other people to learn and share from people's experience. It's actually a good work you are doing. Keep it up, sir, Mr. Fabes. Thank you very much.
Seriously, that part you mentioned that it's not easy editing this podcast is quite true. You know, sitting through this editing process it's a tedious task, to be quite frank. You know, there are so many things I need to say and all those stuff. So, but then thank you so much for coming to the podcast today. And I think we can now say our goodbyes. Everybody can turn on his mic and say goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye. Goodbye, Mr. Leonard.
Yeah, good night. Good night. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Right.
Good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
Okay. Alright, so after listening to that, what do you have to say? Drop us a comment in the comment section below. You can as well follow us on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. Alright, so thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.